Har Har Mahadev, welcome to Radiant Timeless Legends. Nandi, the sacred bull, serves as both the Vahana and gatekeeper of Mahadev, and is therefore enshrined as a revered statue in Shiva temples. Nandi symbolizes unwavering devotion and loyalty to Lord Shiva. According to Shiva Puranas depict Nandi's origin as attributed to the wish of the great sage Shalada, who longed for a child with immortality. To fulfill his wish, Shalada engaged in rigorous austerities, prayers, and repentance. As a result of his intense devotion, Shalada was blessed with an immortal child by Shiva, who was later named Nandi. After Shalada was blessed with Nandi, the name means the happy one, or the one that gives the world happiness. He took great care and provided him with love, instructions, and knowledge. By the age of 7, Nandi became well versed in all the sacred scriptures and texts. However, one day, Lord Varuna and Mitra visited Nandi to bless him, but they seemed worried. When Shalada asked them why, they revealed that Nandi would not live beyond the age of 8. Shalada was devastated upon hearing this news and shared it with Nandi, who could not bear to see his father in agony. As a result, Nandi began to pray to Lord Shiva, who was pleased with his devotion and, as per Nandi's wishes, allowed to stay with him in Kailash and granted him the status of being half man and half bull and immortal. Lord Shiva also appointed Nandi as the guide and leader of his followers, known as the Shiva Gana. Following this, Nandi went to live in the abode of Lord Shiva, where they resided forever, and Nandi became Mahadev's Vahana. In the legendary Samudra Manthan, Vasuki was used as the churning rope, wrapped around Mount Mandara. He endured immense pain as the gods and demons pulled on him. The churning unleashed Halahala, a deadly poison capable of destroying the cosmos. It was Lord Shiva who drank this poison. As a result, Lord Shiva's throat turned blue, and some poison spilled from his mouth. In an effort to save his beloved Lord, Nandi drank the poison, surprising everyone with his great power and strength. Even the gods and demons were amazed by Nandi's devotion and protection of Lord Shiva. This is one of the many stories that exemplifies the selflessness and devotion of Nandi towards his Lord. Nandi became Shiva's closest companion and took on the role of the gatekeeper of Mount Kailash. Devotees believe that to reach Shiva, one must first receive the blessings of Nandi, which is why Nandi's statue is placed in every Shiva temple, always facing the main shrine. Mahadev, pleased by the unwavering devotion and love of Nandi, gave him a boon that whosoever says his/her prayers in Nandi's ears will be able to communicate with Mahadev directly. The prayers will get directly to Shiva's ears. In some parts of India, Nandi is worshipped as a deity associated with agriculture and fertility. Farmers believe that Nandi's blessings can bring them a bountiful harvest and prosperity. They offer prayers, flowers, and fruits to Nandi, seeking his blessings and protection. Nandi's association with agriculture and fertility can be traced back to the ancient Indus Valley civilization, where bulls were considered sacred animals and worshipped as symbols of strength, power, and fertility. This tradition continued to evolve through the centuries. As per Shiva Purana, Nandi is married to Suyasha Devi, daughter of Lord Marut, who is one of the celestial devas in the court of Indra. She was also a great devotee of Mahadev and Devi Parvati. Once Ravana, the king of Lanka, visited Kailash to meet Mahadev, but Nandi stopped him from entering since Mahadev and Devi Parvati were in deep meditation. Ravana got furious and mocked Nandi's bull-like appearance. Enraged, Nandi cursed Ravana, prophesizing that his kingdom would be destroyed by a monkey army. This curse came true when Hanuman and the Vanara Sena helped Lord Rama defeat Ravana in the Ramayana. According to Shiva Purana, Gajasura, son of Mahishasura, was a powerful demon who performed intense penance to please Lord Shiva. When Shiva granted him a boon, Gajasura requested that Shiva reside in his belly. Shiva, bound by his boon, accepted and disappeared into the demon's stomach. Realizing Shiva's absence, Nandi and Lord Vishnu set out in search of him. With their divine vision, they discovered that Shiva was trapped inside Gajasura's body. To rescue him, Vishnu and the Nandi devised a plan. Vishnu disguised himself as a musician, and along with Nandi, approached Gajasura, singing praises of Lord Shiva. Pleased with their devotion, Gajasura offered them a boon. Vishnu cleverly requested that Shiva be released, forcing Gajasura to free him. Once Shiva emerged, he grants Gajasura a boon of his choice. Gajasura humbly requests to remain close to Shiva for eternity on Mount Kailash. Pleased by his devotion, Shiva blesses him and adorns Gajasura's skin around his body, earning the title Gaja Charmambara. Later, Gajasura's head is placed on Lord Ganesha, giving him his iconic elephant-headed form. Did you know about the two most iconic Nandi temples in the world? The Big Bull Temple in Bangalore houses a massive monolithic Nandi statue, standing 15 feet high and 20 feet long, built during the Vijayanagara Empire. It's famous for the Kadalakai parish, also known as Groundnut Festival, where farmers offer their first harvest to Nandi. Meanwhile, the Lipakshi Nandi in Andhra Pradesh is the largest Nandi sculpture in India, carved from a single granite rock, measuring 27 feet in length. This majestic statue faces the Virabhadra temple, a site linked to ancient legends. Nandi represents devotion, strength, patience, and dharma. He teaches devotees the importance of unwavering faith in their spiritual journey. The legends of old never fade. They are the stories of our past, the wisdom of our ancestors, and the timeless tales that guide our future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay legendary, stay radiant.